In this video, we will multiply and divide fractions. We'll start by multiplying. If you wanted to multiply together two fractions like 2/5 and 3/7, what you would do is multiply the numerators, or the top numbers, and multiply the denominators. So in this case, what we've got is 2 times 3 is 6, and then 5 times 7 is 35. That's our answer, but in every single problem, we want to try to simplify if we can. So what that means is we want to see if there's some number that goes into both 6 and 35. Unfortunately, there are no numbers that go into both 6 and 35, so 6/35 is in lowest terms, and that's our answer. We'll look at a couple of examples. In this first problem, we'll multiply 3 times 5 to get 15 and 4 times 10 to get 40. Now, we know we have to simplify, so to do that, we'll remember that 5 goes into 15 3 times and into 40 8 times. So that means that the answer is really 3/8, because once we've multiplied, we have to simplify. In the second one, 8 times 4 is 32. 9 times 7 is 63. There are no numbers that go into both 32 and 63, so this one's already in lowest terms, and we're done. Next, we'll look at 4/7 times 6/8. Something that you can do to make simplifying at the end a little bit easier is to try to simplify the individual fractions before you start. So 4/7 can't be simplified, but 6/8 can. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 8 4 times. Now we'll multiply across. 4 times 3 is 12. 7 times 4 is 28. Now we still have to simplify because I happen to know that 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 4 goes into 28 7 times, so the answer is 3/7. But what that did was it made the numbers that we had to simplify over here smaller. They would have been much bigger if we had started with our original problem. We'll do the same thing in our last one. 10/12 can be simplified to 5/6 because 2 goes into 10 5 times, and 2 goes into 12 6 times. 4/7 cannot be simplified. So we have 5 times 4 is 20. 6 times 7 is 42. This can be simplified because I know that 2 goes into 20 10 times, and 2 goes into 42 21 times, so my answer is 10/21. But that simplifying is a lot easier than it would have been if we had multiplied 10 times 4 and 12 times 7. It gave us smaller numbers, and smaller numbers are always easier to simplify. So you want to try to simplify first in your original fractions and then simplify your answer. Now it's time to divide. When you divide fractions like 3/5 divided by 7/9, what you're always going to do is multiply the first fraction, so that's 3/5. And when I say multiply, that means I'm getting rid of this division sign and I'm making it multiplication, by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So remember, the reciprocal is the fraction flipped over. So the reciprocal of 7/9 is 9/7. Now we've got a multiplication problem like we've done before, and we'll multiply across the numerators. So 3 times 9 is 27, and we'll multiply across the numerators. 5 times 7 is 35. Then we need to check, is this simplified? Are there any numbers that go into both 27 and 35? And fortunately there aren't, so this is in lowest terms, and we're done. Here are two more. We're going to multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second. So 5/7 gets multiplied by 5/3, because that's the reciprocal of 3/5. Then I multiply across the numerators, 25. Multiply across the denominators, 21. There aren't any numbers that go into both 25 and 21 evenly, So this fraction is in lowest terms, and it's our answer. For our last problem, we will do the same thing. We'll take the first fraction, 4 over 9, and multiply it, and I'm going to use a dot for multiplication instead of the x, which is something you should get in the habit of doing too, times the reciprocal of the second fraction. So the reciprocal of 6 over 7 is 7 over 6. I'll multiply across the numerators. 4 times 7 is 28. I'll multiply across the denominators. 9 times 6 is 54. Then I need to see if I can simplify, which in this case I can. I know that 2 at least goes into 28 14 times, and it goes into 54 27 times. So if I write this as 14 over 27, that's a good final answer that can't be simplified any further, and we're done multiplying and dividing fractions.